Please help me welcome Miss Grace Byers.
Oh my goodness. Come on. Oh, it's so good to be home, you guys. Oh my goodness, I haven't been here in 3 years. 3 years. As some of you may know, I had a baby. I'm a mom now. Yep, you guys didn't tell me. All you guys doing it out here, have them Christmas photos with all the babies dressed all nice and taking. I'm like, well, you guys are lying. Okay, because I'm wrestling a toddler in the back of our car. But no, it's been a blessing. It's been a real blessing, and it's so wonderful to be back home. And thank you, Perlina, for inviting me home. I don't need a reason to come, but it's beautiful to come to an event like this. And it's my son's first time in Cayman, so it's very emotional for me because it's, he's a little Caymanian, whether he like it or not, because he's over there eating. He won't eat a thing, but I pull out some curd chicken, he'll eat that. Some Cayman stew beef, and he'll yam that down. So, but yeah, there's no place like Cayman. There's no place like Cayman. I was just telling Perlina this, but when I landed and I felt the breeze, it's different. And I said, it's so funny how the breeze carries memory for you. The sea sounds different when you get home. And the ground carries legacy when you come back to Cayman. And you're instantly reminded of a part of your identity that you've never lost, but you never feel that way until you really come home. So coming home has always felt like a mirror to me. It shows me who I've been and who I've become and how I'm still growing. And in the last 3 years since I stood here, so much has changed in my life. Like I said, I became a mom. There have been moments of joy. There have been moments of loss. And there have been moments that have tested everything I thought I knew about faith and identity and strength. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Not the kind of strength that looks polished on the outside, because I think social media likes to purvey a certain image that in order to be something, you have to look like it. And then there's all this pressure and stress and filters and makeup to try to make you feel and look like something, not that you're not, but something that you're desperately trying to be because you can't seem to access it, right? But I want to talk about the strength that is forged in the quiet moments of our struggles. I think that, especially nowadays, there is so much pride in making it look like we have it all together and have it all balanced, but there's not enough talk about the struggle. There's not enough talk about the things that we truly deal with. And that's why I'm so grateful for the Alex Patton Foundation, because one of the greatest struggles that somebody could go through is a mental struggle. And I remember when I was pregnant, before I was pregnant, I felt like I had a really good idea of who I was. And all the mothers are like, that's cute. And I was like, okay, I finally got it, like I'm in my 30s now. I feel like I kind of have like a little bit of an idea, like this is who I am. I'm the strong friend. It's my pleasure to help. It's my pleasure to uplift, to be there for as many people as I could be all the things for all the people all the time. That was a pleasure. That was a delight. And then I got pregnant. And then I was living life for somebody else as well. And I was the home of another human being. And so much shifted inside of me. And then I gave birth, and I was like, okay, I read all the things. I'm prepared. Why are you laughing? Right? I was prepared. But a month after giving birth, I was diagnosed with severe postpartum depression and anxiety. And I was also diagnosed with something called DMER, D-M-E-R, dysphoric milk ejection reflex. And on a scale from 8 to 12, I had tested on a 17. I was off the Richter scale. And I had to stop breastfeeding because of the Deemer. I had to put together a plan to make sure that I was okay. The girl who knew all the things and could be all the things for all the people all the time could barely be there for herself. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know what I was becoming, and even worse, I didn't know how to come out of it. That changes a person. That makes you think differently about struggle and strength and identity. And that's actually not what I'm going to talk about today, but I think it's important to say that even when it looks like a person has everything together, you never know the internal struggles that they're dealing with. So being kind and saying kind words and ensuring that you are also being kind to yourself is monumental for women, because there's so much pressure on us to be able to do it all. And I'm here to tell you, you can't be all things for all people all the time. So stop, right? You can't do it. And the truth is, with that strength and empowerment isn't pretending that these battles don't exist. They're facing them with courage and with faith and with honesty. It's saying, I need help when you need help. I need support. I actually can't do it all by myself. And I think strength is a big part of that, true strength. So today, I know we're at a brunch, but it also feels like we're at a declaration. We're here together as a reminder that mental and emotional wellness are not just luxuries, they are lifelines. Because when we as women don't have those together and don't have those aligned, believe it or not, communities fall apart. We carry a lot as women. So thank you all for being here and for doing this, because our children and our families and our community, they deserve to see what whole, healed, empowered women look like. So I really want to talk today about what I feel it means to be empowered, how to stand tall when life shakes you, how to fight wisely when challenges come, and how to live grounded in who you are and in who God says that you are. So I'm going to do a little pivot here. A few weeks ago, a couple months ago, when Perlina asked me to be a part of this, I was like, of course, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, what do I want? I was like, Rosa, what do I want to talk about? And I was praying about it, honestly, because I don't take this very lightly. And so I was praying about it, and as I was praying, I was like, all right, well, God, show me, what you want me to say. And so I started reading the Word, and I was reading Scripture, and I actually came across a story that was so impactful that I said, I think this is what you want me to say today, so I'm going to share it. And believe it or not, it's the story of David and Goliath. And this is not going where you think it's going to go. And I know it's a woman's brunch. We talk about two men, but go with me here. But it was a moment before. It was a moment before that David fought Goliath. He faced another battle that was just as dangerous. It was subtle, but it was just as dangerous. And it was a battle to remember who he was, why he was there, and what was worth fighting for. And so I pulled out 3, Rosa, you're so proud of me, 3 empowerment principles that can help us do the same as women and as leaders. And these are position, purpose, and yes, power. And I want you guys to say it with me: position, purpose, power. Now say it like you drank some coffee this morning: position, purpose, power. Together they form the foundation of how we face our battles, how we protect our minds, how we walk boldly into the lives that God has called us to live. Now, this is not meant to be a sermon, although we are here gathered on a Sunday morning. Let the church say amen. But this is a conversation about discernment and about identity. When someone is truly empowered, what is their power source? Where does it come from? And what's more, how can we ensure that it remains? This is our conversation today. So let's go back, take a little look in history here. And here we find David, a little shepherd boy, but whenever we think of David, we don't call him David the shepherd boy, we call him David the king, right? King David. At this point, he was newly chosen to become the future king, and he's now approaching the place where Saul's army is gathered. Goliath has been taunting them for 40 days and 40 nights. David just so happens to walk in right when Goliath is coming out to make his daily taunt. Now, I didn't think that was coincidental. Just like our lives, I feel like so much so, God always has us in the right place at the right time to hear the right thing. He's in place for his destiny, whether or not he knows it. He was just there to deliver bread and cheese, and here comes Goliath, and he starts making his speech, and David's like, well, who is this guy? And he starts asking questions. Well, who is this guy? What does he want? What's going on? And what's more important is the guy who fights him, what does he get? Now, here's a part that really affected me, because as he started asking questions, and this is what it says, his brother Eliab, his oldest brother, gets angry. I thought that was so interesting. That's his older brother. Why is he angry? There's bigger problems to worry about, but he's angry at David, okay? So he says to him, what are you doing around here anyway? What about those few little old sheep that you're supposed to be taking care of? Oh, what have I done now, says David. I was only asking a question, and he walked away. Here's our first point, position. What I love about this story is that David walked onto the battlefield already knowing who he was. He was positioned in his identity. He didn't need validation from the crowd. He did not need applause from the army. He didn't need permission from his brother. He was unapologetically himself. That's the beauty of true confidence. It's quiet. David didn't have to announce his favor. He didn't have to say to his brother, well, what, you're jealous because I was anointed king and you weren't? He didn't do any of that. Even if he did, he would have been right, but it wasn't the right battle. His obedience spoke for him, and that is what position really means. It's not about how others see you. It's about how grounded you are in who God says that you are. Because when you are secure in that, no criticism can shake you. No jealousy can move you. No doubt can stop you. I remember when I booked Empire, everything that was set up not in my favor. I was a little island girl who was just trying to do her thing. And I wasn't a part of an acting union. I did not have a demo reel because I'd never done TV and film before. And I just walked in there auditioning, hoping that it would work out. I auditioned on a Monday, got a call back on a Tuesday, stressed out on the Wednesday and Thursday, and booked it on the Friday. And I realized that I was there on assignment. I wasn't just there because, I did well. I was there because I was exactly where I needed to be. And would you believe that even though I was there and I booked it, there was quite a few times where I had executive producers pull me aside and say point blank to my face, I don't think you can do this. I'm not quite sure you can play this role. They hadn't really even seen me do my thing yet, but here comes the Eliab. Go back to your little old sheep. When you are on assignment, you understand that your position is about posture. It's about standing tall even when you're underestimated, staying faithful even when you're overlooked, trusting that God's timing does not require your validation. So the first principle is grounding yourself in position, in truth and identity, knowing that you are not defined by your critics, but your Creator. Our second principle, purpose. Say it with me now. Purpose. Invest in the future that God is building in you. So let's go back to our story. Now, I blinked twice when I saw Eliab say to him, what about those few little sheep that you're supposed to be taking care of? I said, oh my gosh, let's put this in layman terms. Who you think you is? Go back to your little past. Go back to what I've only known you to be. Go back to what I've only seen you do. That makes me feel comfortable. I'm uncomfortable that you want to think bigger than what you've already done. There are people in your life who are going to want to try to speak to your life, but here's the thing. David knew his assignment had shifted. His assignment shifted, and his purpose was pulling him forward, not in the past. He didn't say, oh yeah, you're right, you're my oldest brother. I'm a little shepherd, let me go back to my sheep. No, he was bold enough to say, okay, and walk away. Now, each of us will face those moments in our life. Each of us will have a voice like that in our life, and maybe it's your own fear trying to chain you to your past. But here's the truth, your past is a classroom, it's not a prison. It's there to teach you, it's not there to keep you. Your purpose does not live back there, it's waiting for you up ahead. Now, some of you may already know this, but a few days ago, the illustrator of my children's book, Keturah Bobo, passed away. She was a remarkable artist with immeasurable talent, and the world feels a little different without her hair. But as I was reflecting back on when we first met, I realized the principle of purpose found us because my past said that I had never been an author before, and her past said that she had never been a literary illustrator before. So everything should have told us that we don't have a right to collaborate and do this thing, but we did. And with God, we moved through all the obstacles and became #1 New York Times bestsellers. Don't allow the Eliabs in your life to limit you, to limit your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul, even if the voices are from people you know, even if the voices are from people you love, even if the voices are from you. Your destiny is never comfortable. In fact, I'd like to argue that comfort and growth cannot coexist. And almost always when you're comfortable, you have to check whether or not you're growing. And when you're uncomfortable, you can give yourself a pat on the back, knowing that growth is occurring. Your past says that's the limit. We're done. Your purpose says this is just the beginning. So we have position and we have purpose. And now we have, oh, you want to come up here? Because you got it. We have power. When David said, well, what have I done now? That really stood with me for a second, because I went, what have I done now? Eliab always does this. What have I done now? He constantly faced criticism. This wasn't the first time, and it wasn't going to be the last, because when you carry purpose, you carry pressure. When you carry favor, you carry opposition. And some of those voices of opposition will come from the outside. Sometimes it will come from the inside. Fear will whisper, you can't. Shame will whisper, you shouldn't. Comparison will say that you are not good enough. But David did something that most of us don't do, especially now on social media, right? David did not argue. He did not explain. He did not defend himself. He just turned and walked away. Because real power is not about proving your worth. It's about protecting your focus. And here's what struck me. I thought to myself, you know what? If he really spent time on Eliab, he would have missed Goliath. If he stayed in that mindset fighting his brother, he would not have been in the mindset to fight Goliath. And it was the fight with Goliath that pivoted his path. It was the one that actually opened up the path for him to become king. That's the secret to true power, discernment. Knowing the difference between what demands your reaction and what deserves your attention. I can't tell you the amount of times that in my life, personally and professionally, I've been called to use discernment. I've had to walk away from numerous circumstances and people and situations that were calling me into a futile battle, a battle that I knew that if I fought, I'd be right. But I knew that if I had fought these battles, that I would be turned off the course of my assignment. What I didn't know was that people were watching. And years down the line, I've had people over and over again come to me and say, I was there when I saw you do this. And what I didn't know is that they were being inspired and motivated. What I didn't know is that my character was being revealed in my choices. The right battle will build you. The wrong battle will bleed you. The right one will advance you. The wrong one will regress you. Power means protecting your focus. Because when your focus is clear, your spirit is strong. And when your spirit is strong, no giant can stand in the way of your destiny. So here we are, Cayman, women gathered not just for a meal, but for a movement. Here's what I know to be true. Caymanian women have always stood tall because resilience runs in our veins. Wisdom lives in our hands. And grace has always been our way of walking in this world. We descend from women who have built homes from almost nothing, who have backed water, sand, children, and dreams all at once. From mothers and grandmothers who have prayed in silence but spoke with their strength, and from visionaries like my grandparents, like your grandparents, who believed that community could be our greatest currency, who built with their hands, served with humility, and led with conviction. And that is the legacy that we carry. That is a power that we are called to continue. We may not have all the answers, but we know the one who does. When we lean in him, he steadies our steps. He reminds us that our worth was settled long before the world had an opinion, and the same hands that shaped the sea has shaped us for position, for purpose, and for power. So stand tall in your position, knowing who and whose you are. Step boldly into your purpose, even when it feels bigger than you. And protect your power, because your focus is sacred, and your calling deserves your full strength. So here is to being unapologetically you. Here's to who you are, to who you were born, to what you were born to do, and to taking up space and looking like a nice piece of fried plantain while doing it.